Are you reactive to almost everything, foods, smells, stress, and can't seem to get ahead? Mast Cell Activation Syndrome, or MCAS, is your immune system trying to protect you, but misfiring in the process. Most people are told it's just allergies or anxiety, but there's a deeper story here. When you see how the hidden pieces are connected in MCAS, the reactivity finally starts to make sense. I'm Dr. Kenny, root cause health detective and functional medicine practitioner, and I decode exactly these immune communication breakdowns. Over the next few minutes, you'll see the 7 root cause clues that explain why mast cells overreact and the patterns I look for before you dive into restrictive diets or endless supplements. And if this resonates, go ahead and share it or tap the like button to help others stop feeling invalidated and start investigating differently. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your reactivity likely appeared when it did, as well as how your mitochondria, hormones, and gut shape mast cell behaviors. Each of these 7 clues I see regularly in practice, and they often are the missing pieces that people wish they had years ago. And to get started, let's talk about what mast cells really are. You can think of them as your body's security detail. They sit at every entrance where the outside meets the inside world, your skin, your sinuses, your gut lining, and even the protective barriers around your brain. And inside each mast cell is a control room that's filled with hundreds of chemical messengers. Histamine is only one of them, and it gets a lot of the limelight. When they sense danger, those messengers are released to help keep you safe ultimately. The issue with MCAS is not that your body is broken, it's that your alarm system has lost its calibration and its set point. Instead of releasing a controlled chemical response, the entire control system goes into a state of panic. And that panic gets expressed as the itching, the hives, the flushing, dizziness, gut imbalances, anxiety, and even food sensitivities that seem completely mysterious. Shifting this understanding around mast cells helps us to step out of the avoid everything mindset and more into pattern recognition and understanding the why. So let's go through these 7 root cause clues. Let's start with one of my favorites and one that's rarely talked about. It explains a huge percentage of MCAS symptoms, and that is mitochondrial stress. Mast cells are incredibly energy draining. When the mitochondria that power them are under stress, the mast cells become jumpy and reactive. Research shows that stressed mitochondria make mast cells fire faster and harder than they would normally, which is why energy demands often amplify reactivity, whether that's mental emotional demands or physical demands as well. When your energy producing systems, the mitochondria, are challenged, even mild signals can feel overwhelming to the system at large. This is why people with MCAS often report crashing after exercise, or feeling wired but tired at night, or sensing that stress hits them harder than other people around them. What's happening is an unfortunate trifecta of oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, and low metabolic or energy capacity, and this increases mast cell expression. So the cells become less effective at filtering signals, so the mast cells overcorrect. And this connects directly to a second major clue that I see all the time. Many MCAS experiences begin after a viral illness, such as COVID-19. When an infection primes your immune system, that altered state can linger long after the virus is gone or eradicated. Many actually become dormant. Research from 2025 demonstrated that spike proteins increase the mast cell chemical release and also cause inflammation in the blood vessels after an infection. This is one of the reasons why I hear so many people say that walk into my practice, ever since COVID, I react to everything or I don't feel the same. It's not that the virus is still present, it's that the immune system signals lingered after the resolution of the virus. And when your immune system stays on edge like that, almost anything in your environment can become a trigger. The third root cause clue is environmental or chemical sensitivities. Our modern environment is unfortunately full of signals that mast cells interpret as threats. Air pollution, fragrances, organic carbons from cleaning products, even mold fragments and toxins, and temperature shifts can all activate mast cells. When your system is already inflamed or stressed and that set point has lowered, the dose does not make the poison in this case. Tiny amounts of exposure can create massive overreactions because that threshold is lower. The pattern I sometimes see in patients is that they flare after moving into a new home or buying new furniture or cleaning with bleach around the house. Symptoms spike in certain rooms or certain buildings and situations, and it all feels random until you start to understand what exposure can do to mast cells. But there is another system that shapes these reactions even more profoundly, and that's root cause number 4, the gut-brain immune crosstalk. A large amount of mast cells live along your digestive tract. They communicate constantly with your vagus nerve, with your stress pathways and the rest of your nervous system, as well as your immune system and microbiome. Research confirms that the gut microbiome directly modulates mast cell activation. If your gut barrier is compromised, or if there are gut imbalances, called dysbiosis, mast cells fire not just locally, but throughout your entire system. And this is why focusing on the gut can often calm symptoms more profoundly than relying on temporary antihistamines. Now, before we go deeper, if you do want to explore the science behind these mast cell clues, I've created a free research summary pulling together 3 of the studies that I used to create this video. It's free, easy to digest. It's in the pinned comment and the description below. All right, back to root cause number 5, hormonal and nervous system influence. Your mast cells are listening and communicating closely with your stress hormones and sex hormones as well, especially estrogen and cortisol. This is why many women notice flares around ovulation or their period, and why stress makes everything worse as well. Your nervous system acts like a master conductor, and when you're stuck in a higher amount of fight or flight mode rather than rest and digest, your mast cells never really get the chance to stand down. Breath work or vagus nerve strengthening practices are not fluff. They can be direct signals to your immune system that everything is calm, safe, and we don't have to overreact. Root cause clue number 6 is surprisingly common, and it's nutrient and enzymatic deficiencies. You need specific nutrients to break down histamine and keep mast cells stable. For example, DAO, which breaks down histamine, requires both copper and vitamin B6 in proper amounts. Mast cells themselves calm down in environments that are adequate in magnesium as well as vitamin C. Situations of chronic stress, whether we perceive it or not, including gut issues and imbalances, deplete these nutrients quite rapidly. So when you lack the core raw materials that your immune system depends on for balance in the histamine systems, reactivity can rise. And finally, root cause number 7, probably one of the most challenging issues, is the complication of overlapping conditions and misdiagnoses. With MCAS, this may be one of the most validating pieces for some people, because symptoms of MCAS often overlap with other complicated conditions, including POTS, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome as well. There's also mold toxicity and dysautonomia large that have many overlapping signals. These are all different labels, but they may not actually be different disease processes. In functional medicine, a lot of these manifestations that we call diagnoses or labels are just different expressions of similar upstream underlying causes. This mitochondrial dysfunction, disruption in the gut-brain immune axis. But once we can peel back the layers and get to some of those root causes, the picture stops feeling as random. You're not collecting labels and diagnoses. You're seeing why your body is functioning the way that it is and what it's expressing as a result. The goal of recovery from MCAS is not to shut mast cells down. They are trying to protect you, but the goal is to help them recalibrate. And the framework we use to do this mirrors those 7 root causes that we've explored. Reduce your total inflammatory burden, support your mitochondrial resilience and efficiency, rebuild balance in the gut and restore the gut barrier, regulate the nervous system and support vagal tone, identify your environmental amplifiers, provide the nutrient materials your immune system needs, and lastly, even running functional labs when needed. For example, you can start to see how these systems are interconnected when we use something like a stool test for microbiome resilience and analysis, or a 6-point cortisol test to get insight into your stress resilience and immune resilience at large. And then one of my favorites for the mitochondria is organic acid testing that can show roadblocks that are occurring. And by the way, if you're in California, Texas, or Florida, and you'd like my eyes on your case, I offer a free health mystery map call that you can book. The link is in the description below. And if you want to see one of the underlying drivers as to why mast cells stay in red alert, you need to see what happens between mold toxicity and mitochondria. And in the next video, I explain how mycotoxin exposure can cause roadblocks in your mitochondrial ability to produce energy. So check it out. I'm Dr. Kenny, Root Cause Health Detective. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.